All right, well, live on YouTube. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our virtual session of Alumni Talks. My name is Danya, Vice President of Center Content. As we are celebrating global entrepreneurship this week, we have invited a special guest speaker, an expert in business management, Sardor Shaahmedov. Hello,
Hi,
Sardor, and
hi,
welcome.
hi. Thank you. Thank you. Nice to be here.
Nice to have you. I'd like to thank our audience as well who has joined us today. We really want to hear from you. So if you have any questions or comments, please put them in the chat on Facebook and YouTube, and we will address your questions right after the presentation. And now let me give you a short background about our speaker. Sardor Shaahmedov is a Future Leaders Exchange alumnus. He graduated from Westminster International University in Tashkent with Bachelor in Business Administration. After graduation, he worked as a marketing specialist, but then turned to photography and went on working as a photographer for the next 8 years. In 2015, he joined the Startup Factory Accelerator program and became its finalist. Later that year, he founded Boomerang Delivery Service and worked on its growth and optimization. In summer 2016, he participated in Global Entrepreneurship Summit that was held at Silicon Valley, California. Also, in that summer, he took part in another program called Global Village for Future Leaders at Lehigh University, Pennsylvania. Currently, he is a business development manager at TKT.uz ticketing service and service expert at TBC Bank in Tashkent. And today, Sardor will talk about startup ideas and the experience and his experience from the visit to Silicon Valley. Thank you so much, Sardor, for joining us today, and I am turning it over to you.
Yes, thank you for inviting me. So let me open up my presentation. So before I dive into the Silicon Valley part, let me give you some backstory how things ended up in Silicon Valley. So for me, all this started with Startup Factory Accelerator program, which was, I think, the first one in Tashkent in 2015. And by accident, just by mere accident, sorry for the noise, I'm in the office kitchen. Um, so all it started in 2015, and by accident, my friend invited me to try and apply for this program. And in a matter of 2 days, we came up with an idea and prepared the presentation to apply to this program. And the first stage of this program was a presentation. We had to send it over the email, and some presentations were accepted for the pitch. So our first idea was lunches, обед ус, lunches at offices. In 2015, this was quite a new idea, and we were really hoping that this is something we could develop and do and do this business in Tashkent. So we did this presentation in 2 days, and in another 2 days we were invited for this first pitch meeting in Startup Factory. And I think there were 200 applicants at that time that applied for this Startup Factory. And we were among 5 startups that were invited to take part in the summer program. So this is me and my friend Slava. He was my co-founder for Обед ус. And after that pitch meeting, we were invited to join the Startup Factory. So these were the chosen ones for the Startup Factory, and there were many great ideas, actually. There were ticketing services, and renting services, and some other I need to look up. So as you can see, Slava is not here in the picture. As this is what happened, how he left. So in order to test our uh, our idea, we had to really test it, to offer it to real people and companies around. So we prepared a short menu with different meals and prices, separate meals, separate prices for meals and separate prices for delivery. And we visited over 50 offices and offered our menus, and we only managed to sell two meals out of 50 offices. So there were like 200 people in those offices, and only two people agreed to order these meals at the price we were asking and pay for the deliveries. So for us, it was a crush, because that meant that nobody really wanted our services at that price. And my co-founder was also devastated, and he didn't believe in this idea anymore and left. And I had to choose whether to stay in the accelerator with something new or leave accelerator program, because Abit Uzi wasn't working. And one of our problems with Abit Uz was the cost of the delivery, because it was like 50% of the meal cost was the delivery price. And I thought, what if I try the delivery service, like the courier service instead of Abit Uz? And this is what I came up with. So Boomerang courier service, I called it, and I needed to test this idea in order to see if it works and if it is demanded. So this is how I tested it. I prepared two uniforms, and I hired a student. To help me with delivery. So we prepared a mock contracts, like a fake contracts. They were like not real contracts, but we needed something to prove companies that we exist, and we came up to them with uniforms and contracts and offered our service. And after visiting like 10 companies, half of them already were ready to sign the contract. So they were willing to pay us the money that we were asking for this service. And so that meant that there was a demand for courier services by companies. And my plan was to prepare an app that would make it easier for companies to make orders, and for delivery people, for couriers, to take orders and fulfill them. So after successful testing, I quickly started the company and found a seed investor. So what is seed investor? It's usually someone from family or friend, or your friends, who has money to invest some money. It's not the full investment, but maybe some money in exchange for a share in the company. So I found this person, and he was also eager to join the company, and we started in 2015, opened the company and hired the first couriers. So so I think after 4 or 5 months, I really struggled with the company, because besides doing business, besides doing this development, there was many other issues, like hiring people, taxes, accounting, and managing all this was quite difficult. And also we had some miscalculations, and overall, for the final cost of the delivery was more than we expected. So we quickly were running out of money, and I was looking for ways to find more investment into the company. And some of my friends suggested different options. Among these options were um, Global Entrepreneurship GES 2016 Entrepreneurship Summit in Silicon Valley, and the Global Village program. And there was another program in South Korea, which I applied to as well, but mainly I will be speaking about these two. So immediately I applied to both programs, and by accident or by mere luck, they were happening almost at the same time, one right after the other, just 1 day difference. and I applied to both programs. And to my surprise, I was accepted to both of them. And I think by the end of the winter, I knew that I passed both programs, and I was already planning my trip to United States. Yeah, before I jump into this program, so how I applied. I really did a research of successful startups and pitches, and I tried to include all the points that I noticed in those pitches into my presentation when I applied to both these programs. So it was a personal application and the idea that, or a startup that you're supposed to present there. And 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 this is what helped me to apply and pass both of these programs. So as for the entrepreneurship summit, it was such a big event. I didn't expect it to be so. For example, Senator John Kerry was at the opening, and Barack Obama was at the closing of the ceremonies of this summit. So you can imagine the scale. And besides those two politicians and famous people, I've seen and heard talks from Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Google, and Reid Hoffman, founder of LinkedIn, on your right, and Mark Zuckerberg, Travis Kalanick, founder of Uber, and there were many other that I can't remember now, but these were the highlights of the summit. And besides the presentations and talks, there were many other events. There were pitches, there were workshops by Google, I remember, very interesting. And everything was so lively and very, very vivid. Still, I'm under emotions as I remember this summit. So as you can see on this picture, we have the finalists of this summit, of some pitches competitions in the middle between Mark Zuckerberg and Barack Obama. And so you can imagine the opportunity and emotions that everybody had at this young age to be on stage with the biggest and most famous people on the planet. Also, it was a fun moment for me. The cast of Silicon Valley show that was shown on HBO was also there. They were making jokes and talking about startups, and even though they're actors, we were really happy to see them because everyone, especially at that time, was fond of this show. Uh, as you can see, this is just some of the people that were in the summit. Overall, there were 700 participants, and I think there were over 5,000 applicants that year for the summit, and we were the lucky ones to be there. And what surprised me was the age difference between the oldest and the youngest. I remember the youngest guy was this one. He was like 11 years old, so he was a developer already at 11 years old, and the oldest guy was like 70 years old. So that shows again that there is no age limit to whatever you do, because business and development is quite hard. And if you can do it at 70 or 11 years old, that means like everyone can do it if enough effort is put. So I was really motivated after the program of the summit in Silicon Valley. And after, as I said, there was a second program as well, right after the Silicon Valley that I passed as well. And it was called Global Village. It is still available today. It's just because of the pandemic. I don't know if there was an intake this year, but in 2016, it was also a big event, a summer program, Global Village 2016. So it was all about communication and studying for leadership skills. Uh, they organized real teams out of participants, and we were assigned different tasks. For example, this team that I was part of, we consulted a real startup that was located in Spain. So we did all of this over the long distance, over the Skype and other tools, and we consulted them on a specific problem they had, and that gives you. And that gave me a very good perspective on international way of doing things, that you can be located in one place working for people like 1,000 kilometers or miles away from you, and getting paid for that. So, and as you can see, this team was very international. We had people from India, Israel, Spain, Georgia, and United States as well. And this is only my team. There were like 10 teams like this at that summer program. So, so this global village was fun as well, very useful, and it was a good addition to the Silicon Valley, because the Silicon Valley program was very intense. In just 3 days, we did so much stuff and met so many people. And this global village program was a bit slower paced. It took over a month to finish. So I was happy to have to participate in both of them. So overall, what I got from these two experiences. So unfortunately, I couldn't get any investment as the scale of of my startup was too small for the investors that were present at the summit in Silicon Valley, and the starting investment at that time was I think over $1 million, and at that time we didn't need that much. And if I say like I still need that much money, I have to prove it. But I had no numbers to prove that I need that much. But on the other hand, I got so inspired because I see how even younger people than me did so well, and it is really possible to scale up, to do business on international level, to move ideas that are like really futuristic or very unique and creative. And leadership skills in both programs, there were so many workshops and opportunities uh, to improve leadership skills and try them. And we were leaders of the teams, we were participants of different workshops, and every time you had to initiate something on your own. And I became a part of a diverse network, both the Global Village program and Entrepreneurship Summit program. Still, we are on this list, and we get notified of any other new programs and opportunities that are organized by these two organizations, and keep in touch with some of the participants, even after 5 years passed. And as I came back to Uzbekistan, I received 11 job offers and partnership offers here in Tashkent. So, uh, so these two programs also gave me an opportunity to showcase myself, and now companies and people knew that there is a guy Sardor who knows something about startups and businesses, and I received 11 job offers after coming back, and I really got interested in programming, and uh, this programming interest led me to the job I do now, which is basically managing of programmers and developers and working together with very different IT specialists and data analysts. And so, as you can see, I didn't reach my previous goal, which was investment, but instead I reached 5 other goals that are not less, that are I think even more precious for me, because I still get benefit from all this. So in conclusion, I want to highlight these 5 points to try new ideas, whether it's an idea or a job or a program like summits and stuff. And if you fail at one, you can always change something. In other words, it's called pivot. You can pivot your idea, as we did with Objet. So lunches didn't work, and I turned to delivery. And delivery was successful for some time. And you can do it over and over again. Do small changes, and until you find that key key factor that is demanded, where is demand for a service or unique idea. And don't forget to spread the word, as both programs that I participated in were suggested by my friends and my close people. If they didn't know that I did these startups and I was interested in this, I wouldn't. They wouldn't suggested me. So you always need to spread, let other people know what you're doing, so you can get help uh, in return. And always look for scholarships and fellowships, because there are many out there, and they are not as hard to enter and win as some people can imagine. And again, problems are opportunities. As you remember, my Abet US experience led me to finally to visit Silicon Valley. So I never expected this, and you should not be afraid of problems that might be in future when you start something, because with problems come opportunities, and that can change everything. So, as a final word, I want to share some links. So, Startup Factory, I'm not sure if it is available this year, but you still need to look up this website and see if they have an intake anytime soon, because it was really useful for me and really gave me experience in startups. Also, if you want to participate in Global Village, here is the link. The second link is Global Village. And third link is for Global Entrepreneurship Summit. You just need to search for it, because every summit they create a new website. So you need to, in order to apply properly, you need to search for it and find the right website, which is different each year. And also, I really suggest you to search on Twitter. If you want to see more about this summit, search for GES 2016 or 17 or 18 on Twitter, because as I remember, Twitter was their main platform to communicate with outside people. So this is it. This is my story in short, and I would be glad to answer any questions regarding what you heard or what you didn't hear.
Yes, thank you so much, Sardor, for your remarkable presentation. It's been very interesting. And I want to remind that this is a great opportunity to ask your questions directly to an expert in business areas. So feel free to submit your questions in the chat boxes, both on Facebook and YouTube, and our presenter will answer them. Sardor, can you tell us, please, what skills should a successful entrepreneur have?
Successful is the hard part, because uh, we need to define what is success, because at the time when I started, I thought success was like earning money, like becoming really rich. But now even without making my startup like $1 million startup, I still feel successful because of all these experiences and people I met. So if we look from that side, I would suggest being open and be ready to try new things to be successful. Because until you try, you never know, like, if you can do it, or if there is what value it brings. So being open and ready to try new stuff without worrying about future problems, because problems will arise whether you try something difficult or easy. But only after trying, you find out.
Thank you. And you mentioned a few things that you have struggled with. For example, human resources issues, right?
Yes,
So, like,
yes,
if you would open new business, how would you cope with? How would you cope up with this
yes.
problem?
Actually, as for running a company, this is quite serious, and always aim for the best people possible. You need like to make a really strong team. In order to be good at hiring, you need to find the best hiring team, like the best HR, to have a real solid accountant, and to have salesperson, because for the first time, at first we were selling our services ourselves, just by knocking at the doors of the companies. But later, when we started growing up, we had to hire salespeople that were calling and visiting all these companies and bringing sales. This is quite important. So number one is a strong team that knows what they're doing, whether it's accountants, sales, or HR.
All right, thank you. We have a question from Gulshan Mahmudova. Thank you for this very interesting insights. Do you have any tips on how to make your application look attractive for those who apply for participation in the Global Entrepreneurship Summit?
Yes, it has to be real, because I mean the figures, everything. It has to be logical. So it's not just about the design. Uh, First of all, you need to show that your idea has been tested, and like we did, we really prepared a menu with meals and prices, and knocked at the door of the companies and showed them, offered our service. And this is how we proved that our concept, our idea, um, is demanded. There is demand for it, because if there is no demand for your service and no one needs it, you will fail right away. And this is what they are looking for at the summit, actually, that you had done your homework, that you have checked that your idea, there is demand for your idea. And this is what we did, and this is what I put in my presentation. I showed all the steps that we went through, that we pivoted from lunches to offices to delivery service. And I think this was one of the strong points of my presentation, and I suggest you do the same.
Okay, thank you. And I know that customer service is very important when you run your business, either small or big business. So, can you tell us something about how to manage that part? Because it depends on your team. It depends on a lot. What do you think about it, the customer service? How to
Yeah,
improve?
exactly. Customer service should be the key, especially if you're providing services. If your main idea is about service, so customer satisfaction should be the top priority. S- Uh, I heard someone said, under promise and over deliver. This should be like the motto of any service company, because customers at the end should get more than they expected, and even more than what you promised, because this will leave them at the better mood after using your service, and this will force them to come back to you. So uh, follow this: under promise, over deliver, as the main motto of any service, and I think you will do fine at any situation.
Okay, thank you. Can you briefly talk about your experience, your volunteering experience? You said you took part in another program, Global Village for Future Leaders, right? That was
Yes,
not a volunteering, but that was a program.
yes, it was a full-scale program, like a summer business school, actually, and there were people from 50 countries that were gathered together for different um, business-related activities. So we had workshops on business-related subjects such as marketing, uh, business development, presentations, and we had some real cases. Like as I showed, we had we had real teams organized, and we had real cases that we had to solve problems. And as our case was, our team was solving a problem for a startup in Spain, and it was quite interesting because. We were consulting people similar to us, but we were consulting on a specific problem, and probably they didn't have time to solve this problem. The problem was actually related to HR, to hiring, and we, a team of 6 or 7 people, were focused on this problem for 1 week, and we gave our solutions and suggestions to this startup company, and we received quite a good feedback from them. So overall, Global Village program is also quite useful. You again meet a lot of people, and you get real life experience by doing some practical cases. And I suggest to anyone to who wants to try it, just go for it, because it is held every year in Pennsylvania at Lehigh University.
Hmm. Thank you. We have one more question from Madina Rajapova.
Hmm.
Thank you for the presentation and motivation. Could you please share your future plans?
Hmm. Of course. Currently, I hold two positions. I'm a service expert at TBC Bank. It's a New Georgian bank, and I'm also a CEO or business development manager at TKT.us. It's a ticketing service. Also, it's a Georgian startup that came here, and they hired me as their CEO or business development manager. And because of the pandemic, we had to stop most of its functioning until things a little bit go back to normal, and then we will continue with it. But the website is functioning, and we did a pretty good start at the beginning of the year. So my plans for the next year, for example, as pandemic slows down and things go back to normal, to continue with TKT.us, and hopefully uh, to extend it and make number one service for tickets. And in far future, I of course believe that I have other ideas that I will be implementing and executing and finding investors for them, because I know now how it's done, and I see a lot of opportunities in in future here.
Okay, thank you. Um, Tell us, please, can anyone be an interpreter? Can anyone be
Hmm.
a good business woman, businessman? Tell us
Okay,
about.
I think most people should try it. Uh, most people should try it. Some will find it maybe overwhelming, because sometimes people get stressed or overstressed because of the scope of things you have to manage. As I
Yeah.
said, I was surprised that I had to manage hiring, accounting, taxes, and sales and everything. But uh, after you solve problems, and uh, you find your way of doing things, and some people like it. Some people like being a little bit under stress and really managing many tasks at once, and then looking at the results, because the results are truly yours and your team's, and you really feel that you put your effort as much as possible. And so I suggest most people should try it, and see if they like it, because until you like really try and dip your toes into running business, you don't understand the specifics, uh, because yeah, you have to try it to know. But I think for most people it is accessible, and businesses are also different. You can start a really small business, just one or two people, without going like global. You don't have to hire 100 people and like be really overstressed with large numbers and large projects. Start small and see if you like it. If you like it, start growing, and I think this is the best approach uh, to running a business.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's actually time and it flew. Thank you so much for being with us this afternoon and sharing your experience and tips. It's been very, very interesting and inspirational, actually. So I hope everyone has benefited from this session today. And also want to thank our audience for joining us
Yes.
and putting your comments and questions. Here we have one more comment from Madina Rajabova. She said, "Thank you and good luck. Good luck to
Thank
you
you.
too. Good luck to everyone." So thanks and see you next time on our USG Alumni Talks.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye bye.